This episode is brought to you by our good friend Gene over at Share Your Gene. This is a good segue. Let's just jump right into it.
Go for it.
We thank you, Gene, and our friends over at Share Your Genius for your support and your sponsorship of House Solo Scale. We couldn't do this show without you. So if you, dear listener, are looking to start a show of your own, you don't know who to trust, look no further than Gene and Share Your Genius. And if you already have a show and you still edit it, or someone who edits it and it totally sucks, or it's not as good as you want it to be, it's not as good as this show, then look no further than our good friend Gene and Share Your Genius. Gene is our project manager at Share Your Genius. She said, go hit up Rachel and tell her Nick and Erica sent you. Thank you, Gene and Share Your Genius and Rachel and Jackie and Amanda, everyone at Share Your Genius. We're forever grateful. Okay, what do you want to talk about today?
All right, we spend a lot of time talking about what to say on the internet. As a service provider and consultant, we have our MP3 strategy well documented, many times over podcasted about. We don't often talk about where to say things and how to get your IP in front of the right people, where they are, where they're hanging out, what to do about it. So I thought we could spend today talking about that.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Okay, I think the number one thing here is that everyone's like, LinkedIn, but duh. And
But
it's
duh.
like, yeah, duh, LinkedIn. And it's like, yeah, LinkedIn is an arm of the marketing mix. But I think we need to understand why LinkedIn and where it and how it fits and why it does the thing that it does. So let's set up some basic mental scaffolding. There are only 3 types of places to put your content, right? There's intent channels, there are discovery channels, and there are relationship channels. So let's define some terms. Intent channels. You are looking for something, right? There is intent behind a Google search. When you type into Google, best CRM, marketing coaching programs.
Mm-hmm. And now you type that shit into whatever.
You chat. So Google is the primary example. ChatGPT, Claude.
If it's going to be Chatty G, can it be Claudie B? I don't know. It just feels like it needs to be.
I know, but Claude doesn't have an initial.
I know.
We'll find his initial. We'll find his initial. Claudie?
Claudie D?
Claudie.
Claudie?
I don't know. Anyway, okay. So there's a place for it. A lot of people search TikTok. A lot of people search Instagram for stuff in the way that they would use Google or ChatGPT or something. YouTube is an interesting beast because YouTube is both an intent channel. You search for things on YouTube, but it's also a discovery channel. So let's go into that.
Same for TikTok, same for all of the shit.
YouTube is the only one I think that's at super scale.
Yeah, YouTube's definitely the most optimized.
No one universally searches TikTok and Instagram. Or the masses don't universally search. YouTube is the second largest search engine behind Google, right? TikTok and Instagram are not even close in terms of the volume of searches. In terms of the volume of searches and the way that people have been trained to use that, right? You go to YouTube with intent to find something, but they've become more of a discovery channel, right? And they do billions and billions of shorts are played every single day. Mm-hmm. And so discovery channels are when you go somewhere like TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube Shorts, and you don't have the mind to find anything. You're just there and you're like, I will just discover something new, right? And your mindset totally matters because when you are searching for something, when there's intent behind the search, it's all confirmation bias. You're looking for the thing that validates the way that you think the world works and a belief or a thought you already have. Right. And so when you're in discovery mode, and this is crazy about YouTube, is that you can be on YouTube and have this 2 different mindsets on the same platform. LinkedIn, not so much. Most people are just doom scrolling LinkedIn and you kind of get what you get, and then something surfaces that catches your attention, and that thing may plant a little seed or change the way that you think about something, right? That's the point, right? So it's for people to discover you or in new information in your IP. And then there's a podcast. There's a relationship channel. Things like this, podcasting and newsletters are the biggest, most reliable relationship channels. Basically, how do people get a little bit closer to the sun? How do we orbit a little bit closer to the thing that we want to know more about? Most people can't get to relationship channels without some sort of intent or discovery channel as the gateway to get there. How did you get here, listener? is probably through some sort of intent or discovery channel. Alternatively, there's yes, people can send that stuff to you, right? Word of mouth and things like that will be much more on the relationship side, but that doesn't really hit the tipping point until you're like super far. Like the vast majority of people that find the show discover it organically. Yep. They like the vast majority of people who listen to the show did not get it sent to them. I think a bunch of people did, but not the majority of it. So this is the structure. Right? These are the things. This is like where we put our content matters. So there's intent channels, discovery channels, and relationship channels. And LinkedIn is the primary discovery channel for all of us people who sell B2B services.
I feel like last podcast I did this, I'm about to say the exact same thing. Let's add some nuance to this cake.
Dissent. Go ahead.
Erica Nuance Schneider. I've made this argument as well. There is this misconception that a channel like LinkedIn, which is pure discovery, cannot get you clients. Like discovery and intent channels are only top of funnel, and relationship is where all of the magic happens and the sales happen. It's like there's that, maybe if you're doing a macro view, but when you zoom in, you can intent, discovery, and relationship channels. All three can act as tofu, mofu, bofu, however you think about the funnel, whatever flywheel you makes sense in your mind. I don't give a shit.
You can move people to action in any channel.
Any channel,
right? You can people can take action and move to convert.
Yeah,
across any three
I know
channels.
plenty of people that are just on LinkedIn. They don't have the other channels, and their business is thriving.
They're doing great.
You don't need all three, but I think what you're trying to say is that you can have all three. Or if you're someone out there who's like, I absolutely can't stand LinkedIn, do I have to be on LinkedIn? Or my clients aren't on LinkedIn in the way that your clients are, which is fair. I mean, a lot of the people we work with are former tech operators selling to tech businesses, and they're just all on LinkedIn. We do have a med tech development specialist as one of our clients. You would think his people aren't necessarily on LinkedIn, but he's thriving on LinkedIn. And now that he's starting to thrive on LinkedIn, we're trying to help him get into some other places so that he can expand beyond LinkedIn. The point is this: you can have all three of those things in one channel. Is it better, though, in your mind, Nick, to be on all three places? Or are you just giving people the option so that they know what's up?
I don't think I wouldn't be on all three. I wouldn't try that. It's not necessary.
We're on two. You've always been on two.
Yeah, but I think that the more important thing is you got to understand the role that each thing plays so that you can know how to use them. Mm-hmm. Right. So we treat LinkedIn as a place for more people to discover us, our point of view, all the things that we do. That's how we treat it. We understand that that's where the distribution comes from for our business. Some people have distribution through speaking at events. That's great. There's nothing wrong with that. We do a little bit of speaking and a little bit of workshops here and there. We want to do more of that, but the vast majority of our distribution comes from LinkedIn. Cool. Nothing wrong with that. It's just, I think it's more important to understand the role that everything plays. And so when a lot of people go, well, how do I show up in a ChatGPT answer more often, right? There are people who are asking questions about the thing that I do, and ChatGPT will surface us. So how do we show up there? And it's it's my opinion that if you are showing up there, you're way too late. For a B2B professional service, if they don't have anyone in their mind who they know, or they don't have a friend they can ask or a peer they can ask for a recommendation, and they're using ChatGPT, they're going to show up the coldest prospect of all time, and it's going to be a really tough sell for you because there's literally zero of the groundwork has been laid. They're going to come in with a ton of biases and a ton of pre-existing thinking that you will have to then undo to get them to see the world the way that you do, to then become a good client.
This is true. I call this the holy shit, I'm famous. Oh, wait, it didn't matter moment.
Yeah, it's people just show up and they're like, oh, we think you can help us. And it's well, cool. So showing up in ChatGPT and stuff like that, or even in Google search, has become less and less of a competitive edge for a B2B service business. Now, I'm not saying that good clients can't come from there. I'm not saying that it's impossible or you should never consider these things. I'm saying when you're trying to scale up or even lay that foundation of clients, like wherever you're at, like if you're doing a million or less, like you don't really need to screw around with these other things, right? Because so it becomes more labor to try and run that sales process for someone who comes in that ChatGPT says, oh, good marketing consultants. Here's a list of good marketing consultants that you could reach out to. And then they just reach out to everyone. This was what happened to us at, like, when you're a HubSpot partner, this is like the same thing, right? People show up to the HubSpot partner directory and they go to the top 10 and they go boom, 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 boom. And they hit the contact us form on the top 10 agencies. And then they go, who are you again? I don't remember. What exactly do you do? And you're just like, this is the shittiest experience for everybody involved. It's commodifies the entire thing. And it's a shitty experience for everybody. So we try not to start there, right? The best place is discovery channels where people can find you and go, oh, I see the world the way they do. Or they're going to go, oh, they have helped me see things in a different way. That's the way that most people come to us. So they go, I used to think this and now I think that. And then on the furthest end, we have the relationship stuff where they're like, hey, I might not be ready to buy, but I certainly want more of this. That's why we write these 8,000 word mini books. That's why we record a podcast supposed to be every week. But, sometimes life happens. But like, that's the thing. So you don't need LinkedIn to be your primary discovery channel. You can use Instagram. Plenty of coaches and other service providers do. I don't think Instagram is the easiest, most effective way for people to discover you. I'm not saying they're not there. I'm just saying, I just think it's a lot harder. And why would you make it harder than you need to?
I have a couple thoughts rolling through my head right now. I'm just remembering a cold discovery call that we had from a referral. Not even a referral. Someone tagged me in a post and then someone reached out. And it was a terrible discovery call because this guy got on the phone and he said, I really like the person that tagged you in a post. I know nothing about you. I've seen nothing you've ever written. Go. And it was like, oh no.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I forgot about that. I totally forgot about that. This is the same thing, right? So when you get cold referrals or just like people just kind of show up somehow and they're like, oh, this other person mentioned you and I like that person. So they said, I'm supposed to talk to you. Like, it's the same thing when they have no idea who you are or what you do or how you think. And it becomes this whole like, look how great I am thing. Like, and then you start pitching and you're like, I don't want to fucking be involved in any of that shit. This is the same thing that happens if you're relying primarily on intent channels as a service-based business.
There's a couple other little nuances to add here. We have a client who serves mainly SEO businesses. And so he wants to show up in that intent channel to prove that he can do for himself what he does for other people. But then there's the other side of that where we have, I know several people who sell LinkedIn, strategy or ghostwriting services that have no profile to speak of
no presence, yeah.
And it doesn't matter. So it's like who you're selling to and what their perception of you, whether it matters or not, if you can quote unquote do the thing for yourself that you do for other people, like that's for you to know. That's for you to intimately understand the person you're selling to. Because if you were just straight up just ask, like, do I need to be visible in the channels that I'm promoting I can get you visible on? Does it matter? My answer is going to be like, I don't know. Does it matter to your client or not? And is that a guess or are you sure? Have you asked? Have you spoken to, like, that's the P in the CP3 problem person process. Like, who are you selling to and what do they believe and does it matter to them?
Yeah, it's like, is that how they use the internet? So all of our clients help serve tech companies in some capacity. And all of the things that they do to help their clients grow are like zero of the things they have to do to grow their own business because they're fundamentally different businesses. So at what point do you need to like stop? At what point do you drink your own whiskey and when do you and when don't you and all that stuff? Like, well, we have to grow our business the same way that our clients have to grow their business. So like drinking your own whiskey kind of makes a lot of sense. But if you serve multi-million-dollar super ding-dong tech companies that need to show up in ChatGPT and all the search results and all this other stuff, like, yeah, but if they're not using the internet to find you that way, well, then like there's no point. It's a waste of effort.
Also, I find the opposite can sometimes be true. You're like, look, I've done it for myself. And they're like, you're a 1 to 2 person business. I'm a enterprise SaaS. I don't understand why this matters. Same for like if you can grow your own quote unquote personal brand. And then it's like, okay, you're a person selling services. I'm a tech business and I need you to help me, scale so I can raise my next round. Like, where is the correlation here?
Yeah, like I'm the VP of, I'm a VP level executive or something at a Series C tech company. Like, they're different things.
Yeah. So like, I guess my answer is always going to be do whatever the hell you want. If it makes you happy to have a big presence on LinkedIn, if you help people on LinkedIn, if it makes you happy to show up in intent channels for your personal site in Google, like great. But understand that what matters 10,000 times more than that is the proof that you can do it for the actual person that you're selling to. That matters way more than being able to do it for yourself.
Yeah, LinkedIn ghostwriters with zero LinkedIn profile is like, I think the irony is funny, but like it's just proof that you don't actually need to do those things for yourself. Like, because he has a fundamentally different business model than the people he sells to. Like his business, people like that, it's like all word of mouth, all referrals, all relationship-based stuff. You don't need a ton of clients. He doesn't really care. That doesn't mean that the results he creates, like the outcomes he produces for his clients, are not good or valuable. Like, of course they are.
Yeah.
Like,
I know some people that I've just spoken to in the past that are hiring for LinkedIn something or other, and they prefer if you don't have a presence, or else you're quote unquote spending all day on your own LinkedIn and not on mine. And I see you on LinkedIn all the time. What the hell? Why is my thing late? Yeah, like it can be there's a double edge to all of this.
Yeah. So either way, the point is like take stock in the things that your people are doing, the way they use the internet. So if they're not asking ChatGPT questions about the services that you offer, I mean, I'm sure maybe to some degree people are, but it's like you will quickly find that it's a lower quality buyer compared to someone who comes in. When I say quality, it's not they don't have any money or they don't have like the means or they're not good people. I'm saying they don't understand you.
They're too early in the buying process. They're an earlier buyer.
They're not very well conditioned to your thinking. And that's what matters most when you're selling services. I feel like they want to do things. You want them to want to do things your way. Our personal recommendation is like back off on the intense stuff. Spend more time on the discovery stuff and more time on the relationship stuff.
The relationship stuff is a long game though. And that's a really important caveat. Like,
and it comes later.
It comes way later.
You got to have a good foothold on like the premise of your business. Like I started 1,000 routes a year after I started out on my own. And I wanted to do it like the first thing. And I was like, no, like
just for the listeners, that's your other podcast.
It's my other podcast.
Know what
that's
that is,
on a brief hiatus. We're coming back. It's coming back. Anyone who cares, it's coming back. But I wanted to start a show immediately, and I had no idea what it was going to be. And then it took me like a year to really nail down how to do something in a way that was going to make a difference for the business. So like you joked. You said this the other day as a joke, but I think it's true, is like you intentionally optimize for as few impressions as possible.
It's true.
And it's like, I don't care how many people listen to the show. Like, I'm grateful people listen to the show. It means a lot to me that people listen to the show. To any of the stuff we create, read the stuff that we put out, like I'm grateful for that. But it's like, the goal is not to build some super massive audience. It's to get in front of the right people and meet a lot of the right people. 1,000 rounds was me meeting as many great people as I possibly could, and it still is that. Mm-hmm. And so the fact that other people want to listen to is like a good byproduct. And I think when you shift the focus from how do I make this the most amazing show that gets 1 billion downloads to how do I have a conversation, a really thoughtful conversation with somebody I really want to know.
I think some people are pulled in two directions when it comes to this, and that's where you get into trouble if you aren't aware of what you're doing. So a lot of people with their relationship stuff like newsletters or podcasts, they care about the metrics, not because it's some vanity thing that makes their ego feel good, but because they want a sponsor. And generally, sponsors want to know that you're going to be hitting some big volume of people. And unless you can prove that like the 500 people that are on your newsletter are all like right there ready to buy and are perfect for your sponsor, like they're going to care more about that top number being quote unquote high. Generally speaking, I'm sure that not every sponsor is like that. And I know a lot of people that are in the service consulting world, especially in our echo chamber, that care a lot about growing to big numbers because they care a lot about sponsors. What would you say to that?
I mean, go for it, have fun. But I think it is a distraction from the core business, which is like, you're not in the traffic business. So if you want to like make a big show, like it's hard to grow a show. Just hard. Ask anybody. Like anyone that's done this for a really long time is going to tell you the same thing. It's really hard and it's a slog after a while. Like all the lust for the show wears off and then it's just you in the show and you're like, okay, I have to keep doing this. Like that's a big, it's a commitment. But I think the main thing is to recognize that like, I think 0, maybe 1 person of all of the time I've done 1,000 routes. I think 0 people who have listened to the show have been like, hey, I first heard about you through the show, or like, and have become a client. Like I'm sure that people who listened to the show have become clients, but significantly more people who I've had on the show and who I have just met like a year later are like, hey, I think we should talk, right? That's where the value is in building up your network and the relationships and being like being a thoughtful person and just like genuinely caring about what other people are saying to you on these shows. It's like, it's not meant to be like a fake sales pitch by any means. It's just like, I mean, people listen to the show. So it's like, Erica, you were on it. Do you think I sold you anything on that show? It was just like being there. We just jammed for an hour.
You did end up selling me your service.
Yeah, but that wasn't but just being on the show wasn't a sales pitch.
Not at all. I just really liked you. And I was like, I got to spend more time with this guy.
I was like, we got to hang out. Like, let's just talk. And that's the show. But like, that's the point of these. That's why I call them relationship channels, because you literally can build a relationship with someone. And now there's like all these people that you can reach out to have conversations with, not about your business, but about life, or just like catching up with people, and you're top of mind and they just know who you are and they know what you do. They have a positive sentiment towards you. You're just part of the fold now. And it's a totally different thing. And that's how I've met so many great people.
My favorite messages to get on any channel is, hey, I just discovered you. I think you're great. I like the way you think. And I can't wait to be ready to hire you later. And it's like, fuck yeah.
Those are cool. I
love those. Those are the best, because I know that if and when you're ready, you're going to be like right there. You're going to have listened to everything, read everything. You're going to know. Yeah,
you're going to know. So that's the point, right? So I want people to realize though, like when you build a relationship channel, the point is to build relationships, not to make a super huge viral podcast or something where everybody, there's millions of downloads. That's not the business we're in, right? So if you use the show intentionally to meet good people, to meet people that you wouldn't really otherwise have access to. This is the big thing, right? In the past, I saw this a lot, and I still think it's a problem. We just don't see it a ton with our client base these days, but it's like access to buyers is a huge barrier. They want to sell into a certain group of people, and they really struggle to get in front of them. I was like, what's the easiest way? It's like, give them a reason to have a conversation with you. Invite them on your podcast. Now, having a strong premise about like a shift for what the show is also really important. You start with people who are like 1 degree. Like I had Andrew Kaplan on as my very first guest because he was like 1 degree away. And I knew that like, it's tough to get like a first guest on a show. And I'd never like met him before, but I knew him enough. I was like, I think he'd be down. And he took a chance on a show that no one's ever listened to before, right? From a guy that basically no one's ever heard of. So it's like, you don't just start swinging. You don't just like try to get like Gary Vee as your first guest. You're like, let's just start with someone and try to cut our teeth a little bit. So build relationships with people. All that stuff has gone such a long way for our business.
I'm getting back into networking calls. It's been a while. That's how I built my whole business. Like I posted on LinkedIn, people were like, this is interesting. And I'd be like, cool, let's chat more. And I just hopped on calls, like 5 calls a week for the whole first couple of years. And then I had kids and was like, I cannot. But now they're 3 and I'm like, I think I can do this again. I have 2 networking calls next week. Look at me go.
What? Oh my gosh.
I know. I haven't even told you about the second one yet.
Extroverted.
It's going to be chatting with people.
Just chatting it up.
And the point is this though, like some people are like, why would I do that? It's a waste of time. It's not, though. You learn something from everyone you talk to. And even if these people aren't, both of them could be prospects. I don't think either of them are in a place to buy. So speaking to them is going to be great to just meet them and see what's going on in their business and like figure out how can we help, like, you know, get them to the place they need to be in general. What can we talk about that they're interested in? But also, you know, maybe they'll think of us or I'll think of them. It's not just about me. Like whatever that we're all doing, there have been so many, like Emily Court, the person we send to for all of our designs, she commented a bunch of my LinkedIn stuff like 2 years ago. I was like, let's hop on a call. That's why we're friends and we have partners. Yeah, we have like partnerships with people. Like you don't know where it can go, and it is not a waste of time. That said, you do not want to hop on a call with everyone that asks you to hop on a call. Please,
No,
God.
don't let
do that.
anyone pick your brain. That sounds awful.
No, don't pick your brain.
Don't be picking brains.
Don't pick my brain.
Yeah, so like relationships is like it all leads to the same place, which is relationships. So like we don't advocate for using your podcast as a thinly veiled sales pitch or like a front for a sales pitch or like any of those weird things. Like you have to be a genuine, normal person and you have to actually care. And the premise of your show matters, because why the hell would anybody want to come on your show in the first place and talk to you about anything at all? So all of those things must be true in order for the show to work. Now, the problem that most people face, especially on relationship channels, is that they interview or they talk with, they invite peers. And most of your peers, most people selling stuff, like you're not the founder or an executive at a tech company, right? So your peers are people like other solopreneurs probably. And that's a huge problem. Like we see the same thing on LinkedIn. Eventually all solopreneurs start writing about solopreneurship and they build an audience of solopreneurs and they go, maybe I should sell a cohort or a group or something to solopreneurs because there's clearly demand here. And it's like it just ends up happening to everybody.
It's easy because it's familiar.
Because there's a lot of people there. And that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm not like mad about it. But it happens and they don't know why. And it's because you're talking about your problems, which happen to be everybody else's same freaking problems. It's all the same stuff. So in order to get your buyers, the people you want to know on your show, the premise absolutely matters. So you have to come up with something compelling, something interesting for them to want to come on and talk to you about. It's not the same stupid shit that every other show they've ever been on is.
Uh-oh. Are we going to have to do a whole thing on premise development?
Oh, I don't know. There's the Jay Kunzo exists for that reason.
He does.
If you want to talk about premise development, go see anything Jay Kunzo's ever said, and it will blow your mind on that stuff. We talk about it with our clients a bit because it's super important, but he is by far the GOAT of just platform premise development. Like you as a person who sells stuff. But yeah, I think it's massively important, and it's why we're super intentional with this show. It was like you're super intentional with what Cut the Fluff has become.
Oh my God, that has gone through such a premise development glow up. Makes me so happy. When I first started my personal newsletter, it was just editing, all things editing, whatever you can do to edit. And I attracted a lot of people that wanted to learn how to edit, which was fine when I was selling an editing course. Now that I'm in the relationship business world, I'm not teaching people how to do things anymore, and I don't want to. I have a whole newsletter on that if you want to go check it out. But the best way to attract buyers instead of students is to have a premise where you're exploring things, or you're sharing learnings, or you're teaching things, or you're really articulating problems very well. And so now the Cut the Fluff premise is, I'm just teaching you how to cut the fluff in your content, your business, and your life. And that is way better than learn how to edit for a higher maturity buyer, for a higher ticket offer, for a traffic versus relationship, the whole thing. So you have to know these things. Like the premise worked for one type of business, and then I switched my business model, and now I needed a new premise that fits that. So yeah.
Yeah. And it will glow up. Like I think 1,000 Routes is going to get a glow up. I think this show will eventually get a glow up at some point.
It's all part
and
of the
we're
journey.
going to change it. Yeah. I mean, you're just going to shift over time, but they say, right, you can't steer a stationary ship. So you do the thing, you make the stuff, and you go, what am I supposed to be learning here?
Yeah.
What does this all mean? It's the same thing with the LinkedIn content we create. We wrote a whole mini book about this, about how when you put stuff out and you see how people respond to it and you take that in and you swirl around in your brain, you go, oh, that's the thing that's important to people.
Oh God, I'm so happy right now with one of our clients we've been swirling things around with her for like 6 months. And we just hit on this really, really important idea.
It took a minute, right? We thought we had it.
We thought we had it. It wasn't sticking. It wasn't sticking. It wasn't sticking. And then boom, she said this thing, and we were both like, "That's it.
That's the thing." We said, "That's the hook."
So we wrote the posts, and these last 2 posts have absolutely popped off. And I don't care about the impressions.
I know, but
or
I'm
the
going to tell you how
engagement,
many impressions she sent us.
even though it's doing very, very
Dude,
well.
it has 40,000 impressions and over 500 reactions.
Fantastic.
I know,
More
which is like
importantly,
which is insane. Just like to know that, like, oh, we struck a chord there.
We struck a chord.
Right? We know.
And
we
this
got
is
the
not one
thing
of those like, here's how to do some stupid thing on LinkedIn that
No,
everyone
it
else
was
tells.
like it was
this
a
is a genuine
shift in thinking.
Shift in thinking, and the amount of people that are saving it, reposting it, and the inbounds that she's getting. It's like all the right things are happening, and we have hit a chord. And this is what we mean by like, put things out there, put things out there, put things out there. When you find something like this, which is a massive signal, now we know. Now we're going to double down and go all in on this, and she's going to make a ton more money because she has this brilliant IP now, and she is leading the thoughts on it. Like, she's literally thought leading her way into higher revenue. And that's the whole thing.
Yeah, I totally agree, right? Like the fact that the post popped off and like the algo is eating it up is like cool. It's like, oh, neato, like clearly struck a chord there, but like the response, like the fact that all of these people have in the comments, it's not like, oh, interesting post. Like, we were looking at the comments, like paragraphs. People are writing novels to her about this idea. And it's like, that's how you know we have struck the gold, and we're going to continue down that path until like probably for the first into the foreseeable future. So that's it on intent channels, or discovery channels, and relationship channels. This is the difference between what should I write about, which is like the MP3 framework, and where should I put it. So there you have it. Until next time, friends, we will see you, or you will hear us in your headphones while you're mowing the lawn. No one's mowing the lawn this time of year. While you're shoveling snow.
Hey, they could be in Australia. You don't know. We don't know.
You could be somewhere mowing the lawn. That's true. While you're doing the dishes. Until next time.
Everyone's doing dishes. All right, bye.